All right, so here we are, January 22nd. We are having our next podcast. What I want to discuss first is there seems to be this ongoing theme that a lot of women seem to have, where they have these relationships with men, and they're not clear on the terms or even the status of their relationship. And then they get upset when it turns out to not be what they thought it was. And the man is saying, well, I told you X, Y, and Z. You didn't listen to me, so you really can't be mad at me now. So
when they come into a situation already kind of funky and they kind of feel like they can kind of rise above it, so to speak.
Yeah, it's like they're not being realistic. And it's funny because I had a conversation with this guy at work, and, briefly we were just talking about, he's like, he used to be an asshole. He's not an asshole anymore. He treats women well, but the problem is that, he treats women well because that's how he was raised. But then they all kind of catch feelings and they're on some like, okay, it's me and you. And he's like, but I'm always honest with them. I always tell them I don't want a relationship. I'm chilling right now. I'm just doing me. He's like, but because I treat them well, they get this impression that it's more. And so what I said to him was, I said, well, the problem with you, I said, that's a good thing that you treat women well and that you were raised right. I said, but when you spend holidays with a woman and you buy her gifts and you're intimate with her and, you do things for her, like you go get her oil changed or fill up, put air in her tires, or you do shit that boyfriends do.
Come home consistently, or like every Sunday night y'all watching
The Walking Dead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing boyfriend shit, then she's going to think you're her boyfriend, even if there's no title.
Yeah, because you could be nice to her and just take her out every once in a while and open the door and pull out her chair and pay for the meal. Mm-hmm. But that has to be like a once in a while thing, so she knows, okay, I may not see him often, but when I do see him, mm-hmm. he's a very nice guy. She won't ever think he's my man.
Well, then this is the question, though. So I kind of understand both sides. Like, if you treat me like I'm your girl, I may know in my conscious mind that we're not together a title. However, I might feel uncomfortable with seeing other men because I'm feeling like I'm intimate with you and we spend a lot of time together. I don't want to tell you I'm seeing other men because then maybe you'll be like, oh, word, so I'm going to see other women, but then I don't want to lie to you. So it's very ambiguous and gray. But if a man has told you that, so I guess my question is, do you believe what he tells you, or do you believe, like, is that a case where actions should not speak louder than words, or should they?
I've been in that situation before. I totally believe that you should believe what he says.
Okay.
Because I just think, unless he along the road changes his verbal that matches his fit, like what he's mm-hmm. actually doing, I would stay clear of falling into the traps of being around him a lot. Then, if he's mm-hmm. not willing to is not ready to be in a relationship, even though when you call him, he's available to you. Okay. You know what I mean?
So if he acts like your boyfriend, believe him when he says he doesn't want a girlfriend, exactly. Even if he treats you like you're his girlfriend.
Yeah. You need to revisit, well, what are we doing here? Because you need to point out mm-hmm. what I would do is I would always believe what he says.
Okay.
I think not believing what it says and showing his action has no bearings, because like you said, he could just be a very nice guy, or he's lonely. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have everybody on the roster right now. So right now, in the next 3 months, it might be you.
Yeah.
But then when he's really wanting to, when he finds somebody, then he's out, and then he left you high and dry. So I would believe what he says, and mm-hmm. if you fall into the trap where it's been going on for a long time, where it seems more than what it is, then you revisit the topic and you point out what he's doing.
Yeah.
This is how you're making me feel, and this is how you say one thing, but this is along the lines of what you're doing, and allow him to correct it or pull back.
Yeah. See, I guess the fear for women is like, if I say it, if I like make a demand, it's almost like if going to your boss to be like, I want a raise, and if they don't give it, now you're forced to make a decision. Do I stay, or do I?
Because they know that anytime you're afraid of that is because you know that it's not real.
Or you know that you care more than the other person does.
Right. Which is unfortunate. I've been in that situation. Where I went with it, and I also revisited it. And like you said, the revisiting took a while for me to revisit, because like you said, you mm-hmm. fear that whole...
Yeah.
It's not going to go my way, but I know in hindsight, looking back now, I know the reason why is because I knew what he meant was what he meant.
Yeah, you knew the real. You knew what it was. You maybe just didn't want to admit it, or you thought, like you said, maybe you could change the circumstances.
I liked him too much, and I kind of wanted him, like most women, to find something about me to change his mind.
So what do you think from a man's point of view, if they're that guy who's just like, I treat women well, but they know they want to be single, if she doesn't bring it up, do you continue to just roll with her and have a good time? Or is it on her to ask a question? Or is it up to him to constantly remind her, like, you're not my girl?
Yeah. No, he's never going to constantly remind you.
But I'm saying, should he?
No, he's not going to. Even if he should, he's not. It's kind of, for them, it's kind of mean.
Yes.
To continue to be like, let's say we going together, he says one thing and then he's taking me out to the movie. Then the minute I get in the car, we just kicking it, right? Like every so often, every month, tell me,
send you a text, like, just so you know, bitch.
And also, they're not. I'm sure they'll find it mean. Yeah. And also, they know that saying that is gonna get them less things.
Yes, that's true.
If they keep reminding you, then you're gonna pull back for a minute.
Exactly.
Even though you may come forward again, it's going to deny them of what they're already getting.
Yeah, that would be stupid on their part, because then like you said, they're not going to get everything that they want, because they like the fact that you're treating them like you're their man. Yeah. But they always have this a clause in the contract, though, like,
yeah, I told you.
Yeah.
Get it twisted. It's on you because I was truthful to you. That's what they always fall back on that. But they do like the fact that you're all in, and they're not all in. That's ideal for them. That's the best situation ever for them. They would never make a decision.
That's true.
If they don't have to, unless to leave them or make, like you said, an ultimatum. They'll do this forever. It'd be endless.
Clearly, as we've seen in the most of the characters in Love and Hip Hop, like your boy Cisco. Can we talk about Cisco when he went to Georgia to see his baby's mother?
Yeah.
That Negro. What really pissed me off about him is like, okay, part of me is like, you know what, chick, you have 2 kids from him. You've known this man for a long time. You know who he is and what he's about. If you're not already seeing other people, then you're the donkey. Because you know he ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? You guys don't even live in the same state. But for her to sit there and like, well, if you're going to do you, I'm going to do me. And then he explodes.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm not what do you say? I'm not a man? Or something.
I'm not, I don't handle things in a man way, because I guess he takes those tantrums and, he'll probably harass, I guess, to my understanding is, he probably will damage the relationship, like harass him and try and get him jumped or beat him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like physical violence. So it's going to make it so hard for the guy to be like, I'm not trying
to deal with you.
Yeah.
And that's the shit that pisses me off, because you see it all the time. And it's like, I don't want you, but I don't want nobody else to have you. Yeah. And like these men, they'll give you enough to keep you hanging on. But then they're doing them, obviously. And then this like half-ass apology that he gave her, I don't know what the hell that was. And because she didn't accept it the way he wanted to, he blows up. Like, he's right. He's not a man. And with just like Maya Angelou said, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them.
Yeah.
He's a man-child. There's something wrong with him. You know what that scene kind of reminded me of? Oh God, what was that show in Atlanta with hip-hop wives or exes or whatever it was? With Tamika Raymond, Usher's ex-wife, and CeeLo's ex-wife.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of CeeLo and his ex-wife, where he's like, well, you're going to start dating? Well, I need to know who this is, and I don't want them around my kids. And meanwhile, he has a whole other relationship, but she's sitting here on pause and has to answer to him about what she does.
And talking to him on, I'm going to go on a date tonight.
Yeah, like she needs his permission.
Because he needs no permission from you. He's not respecting you. I don't understand how these women give up so much of the power to those men, and then those men are not giving them anything.
Exactly. You're not getting anything out of this. Like, I mean, I'd even prefer if we had a real conversation where it's like some old, some pretty woman chick. Like, you know what? I'm going to pay you. Or I'm going to do this. I'm going to pay your mortgage. I'm going to pay for your car. And just know I'm going to be in and out. But, the price for me to do all these things for you is that I'm the only one you see. That sounds fucked up, but at least we both know what's real. You're not pretending like you care about me or like you're gonna marry me. Like this is a deal. This is a business deal. It's almost like prostitution, if you will, or like an escort. Because at least I know what's up. But this whole I love you, you know you're the only one. Meanwhile, he won't marry you. You know, just like Peter and Tara, well, her dumbass. Peter Guns. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
When he went to that girl, when she was on in the hospital bed.
The timing, it's like, are you in your right state of mind to even have that discussion right now?
Who does that? I mean, it was so sad to watch. And when she started crying, I just my heart couldn't help but feel for her.
Yeah, you had so many months to do that, to clear the air. You
wait till this bitch is crowning before you want to tell her that, you know, you talked to Tara and then even the conversation was like, and Amina doesn't seem very smart, but even she picked up on it. She's like, so you didn't choose me. She said no, so now by default, you want to be with me?
Right.
Like, you could, if all the lying you've done for the last 2 seasons, you couldn't lie about that part?
Yeah.
And say, I told her I'm done with her?
Right.
He needs to move away. He needs to move to Guam or somewhere, because he just needs to go somewhere. He needs to be sterilized, because he does not need to have any more children. His genes do not need to be replicated ever again.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame. He's got 8 children out there. I hope that their mothers are decent people, because that's 8 idiots walking this earth that we're gonna have to. They're gonna go and procreate, and we're gonna have to deal with them.
And I'm going to go on the side of their 8 idiots.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give them any credit that any one of them have any sense.
That's
true. I'm going to record and say that.
Record, yeah. Though we'll just put it down.
8 idiots.
Write that down.
8 idiots.
8 idiots in the tri-state area.
Yep, in the tri-state area.
Because their mothers
right now
couldn't have been much smarter if they dealt with his shit. Maybe the first baby mother didn't know, but the rest of them.
Yeah.
Come on, son. Speaking of chicken heads, Chrissy.
Yeah. And she seems a lot old to be crying about something that of choice. All those things that you're crying for are the choices that you've decided to make.
Yes. And no, she doesn't seem old. She is old. You're gonna make her.
Yeah.
I don't even know that she can have a baby. Let me stop. That's not nice. But she just seems like the whole conversation with her. What's his name?
I don't know, Chinks or something like that?
There you go. Yeah, something stupid like that. This is what we're telling. He told her, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to do this with you. And of course, he turned into a man-child too with this. Well, I'll just stay married then. Huh?
Does he have kids already?
Yes.
I'm sure he does.
Of course he does.
What was I saying?
Are you what are you drinking over there? Of course he has kids. Of course he does. There's probably like 15 children in total from those 5 guys on the 3 guys on the show.
Running around.
15 plus. And then them idiots probably, because they ain't young, so them idiots might have some idiots too. So, grand idiots. So, yeah. So he told her, I don't want any kids, I guess, with you or ever. I don't know what the hell, what came behind it. But basically the answer was no.
Right.
This dumb bitch starts crying and fussing. Like, the man is married, allegedly.
And if and when I get divorced, I may decide to stay married forever. Let's make that note.
That should have ended the conversation.
Like, I'm not with her. I'm not going to be married, but I can stay married forever. Mm-hmm.
That's when there's nothing else to talk about. Yeah. We shouldn't even go to the next topic.
Yeah.
That's the end of that. Oh, word? That's what we're doing? But, again.
To deny me something that I've obviously, if I came into it and we're kicking it and we supposed to be so cool with each other, that's expressed. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be selfish. And that's what you do.
Yeah. And it wasn't even the way he said it. Like, if he had been like, you know what, babe, I can't, my kids are expensive, or I don't know if I'm ready to start all over again. Like, if you don't want any more kids, that's fine. However, there's a way you say that. And 2, you shouldn't be dealing with a woman of her age who doesn't have kids if you know that that's not what you want.
Yep.
But again.
I had a guy that was still work with him. Mm-hmm. He's a mess, but he got a divorce and he started dating this girl, and the girl, like, he's around my age. So he's like 39. He's probably going to be 40. And he was dating this woman that's a little older than him, maybe, and she's like 43. And she's never got married, never had any kids. And he, even in dating her, he was like, I'm not going to even put myself all in. It's going to be really sporadic. She's a real good girl because I know I already got my 2 kids. I've already been married, and neither of those things that I want.
That's mature.
She, as a woman as well, I'm sure he told her that. She started to kick it with him. Thought maybe like all women, I'm going to change him. And at the end of the day, he was like, I had to like really, he said to her, I had to really, because she was getting really close and, I really like her. But she's got a different agenda than I do. And he ended up leaving her alone. White
that's
guy,
smart.
Of course.
See, that's maturity, and that's what you should be doing at 38, 39. You know what I'm saying? Those are the kind of decisions you need to make.
And he liked her. When I say he liked her, she was perfect. She looked good for her age. He would come in, he was all about it. But he's like, I can't go any much further because she's already expressed to me this is what she wants, and that's not what I want.
See, that's how it should be. But... And, as a woman, you may not want to hear that, but you know what? That's what I would prefer, because then you end up like Chrissy, who's now going off of birth control with the intention of tricking him. And now she's like, I don't need a man. Just like we were talking about last week. Here we go. You're already starting at a deficit with this. Well, if you don't need a man, then you could have had a kid 4 or 5 years ago. Why did you wait until this man came along to fertilize your egg? You could have got that done anywhere.
Yeah.
But so now I can tell, we're fortune tellers. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to look at my ball. I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If she's able to get her pregnant, he's going to be pissed.
Yep.
He's never really going to bond with this kid because he already has 2 kids and he's in and out anyway. He's going to be mad at her. He's going to turn it around on her because, she may even go so far as, well, you don't got to put your name on a birth certificate. I'll do this by myself and blah, blah, blah. And now there's another childless father being raised by a bitter woman. And she's going to stay mad at him, even though he made it very clear what he didn't want. And maybe she'll take him to court for child support, which he will have to give her. But it's just so not fair all across the board. It's not fair to his other kids because now it's cutting into their money. All for a kid that, but then on the flip side, you shouldn't be having sex with her raw if you know that that's what she wants.
Right.
Or you shouldn't be, better than that, maybe you shouldn't be with her.
Right.
But that's just too much like common sense. That just makes too much sense. What are we thinking? Unbelievable. So, Cisco... no, we already talked about Cisco.
Yeah, we talked about
okay.
Cisco, but
so,
and the fact that she was crying, I felt bad for her, but like you said, the crystal ball is she's going to somehow, some way get pregnant, and that's the road she's going to go on. She's going to be another statistic like the rest of them. Yeah, and they're a statistic, and you're angry on top of that. And then he's going to be that guy. He don't care, take care. She can sit around and powwow with the rest of her girls, and men ain't shit, and they don't take care of their own. And then, she also seems kind of ignorant. I could see her telling her kid he ain't shit too. Yep, and that bitch and whatever bitches he gonna have after that, because he's gonna get another girlfriend.
Of course he is, and he might even have a baby with somebody else who's younger, prettier, tighter, and who he really likes.
He might get his final divorce and marry this new chick.
Yes, and then she'll really be pissed. Because I feel like their relationship is based on convenience. Because, she allows him, she knows the whole story. She knows he's married. She allows him to dip in and out. And she seems like she's, very accommodating in many different ways. And, he likes that. And he could talk to her any way he wants to. And she's still there.
She's a homeboy.
Yes.
And a sex thing.
Precisely.
That's what they all like.
Precisely. He loves that. He likes that little fire in her every now and then, but he knows he can check her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can, she'll turn up, but at the end of the day, she'll turn down when I tell her to. Ay, Dios mío.
But those are, like you said, not real men.
No, they're not. And this is one thing I'm going to say before we go to the next segment. I don't know if it was this show or something else I was watching, but it might have been Tara, where she's like crying and whining. And she's like, just let me go so I can find my happy. Just let me go. Why does he have to let you go? Why don't you let yourself go?
Right.
If you want to be happy, don't give this power to him to allow you to move on with your life. If you want to move on with it, move on with it. But they
these
wait
women
for
are
permission, knowing that they'll never get permission, and it's just another excuse just to hang on.
to stay, exactly.
It's
'Cause
bullshit.
they love the he still wants
He
me,
wants
still,
me.
you know what I mean? That whole bullshit. But it's not real.
It's not. And these women, a lot of them are old enough to know this. But
It's sad because those people are not living true love.
no.
They really think that they are in love with these people. These men really think that they really love these women, but they don't. Because I tell you, that's no display of whatever they're doing is not loving somebody.
No.
You can't possibly love somebody and be that selfish and be so into yourself.
Yeah.
Just like it's the same thing with whatever her name is, Chrissy, with him. And you know, if you're gonna really make that decision to, let's say, have a kid and then go, oops,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't know.
That's not love.
You don't love someone if you're just doing something based on what you want.
Yeah.
They're both living their lives with each other based on what they
need.
what they want.
And that's why they'll never work.
He wants to hold on to being married and doing the hell what he want to do and moving in and out of the city and dating artists and not dating artists and coming home to her. She wants to be with him and live the life of luxury because maybe he's making some sort of income that maybe, you know, whatever it is. And she's probably, you know, he's her type. He's gangster, whatever it is. She subscribed to kind of men she likes. She looked like she liked some kind of guy. So she gets what she wants. And now she's going to now trick him into this pregnancy thing.
Yeah.
And so she's getting what she wants, but they're not loving each other. They're loving themselves.
Yeah. Hold that thought. I'm going to move into the next segment because I have something to say to that too.
Yeah.